So really, in your words, what do you think happened yesterday to this team?
Just basically offensively, a lack of execution. I mean, the defense played well enough for us to win. They only gave up basically 7 points. We gave them they held them to a field goal, and then they scored when we had a turnover, and it was 10-0 for the longest, and then we gave them a touchdown on the special teams mishap, and then all the interceptions and a pick six, and so the defense played well enough for us to win, but we did not execute offensively well enough. I mean, we were in the red zone plenty of times, enough to score, and didn't put the ball in the end zone. So it comes down to executing the plays right. I mean, moving the ball is good, and moving the chains, you can get in the red zone, but you have to put points on the board, as an offense.
It's curious to the fan and to us when you see 6 interceptions and you see all those trips to the red zone and coming away with no points. It's easy to look back and say, boy, maybe you should have ran the football more. Was there ever a thought in that huddle of maybe trying to change the game plan in the red zone, especially when you continued to get opportunities in the second half to score?
I mean, hindsight's always 20/20. So, I mean, if we'd have thrown the ball and scored every time, it'd have been like, oh, it would have been the greatest play calls ever. So, those things go both ways. It's always easier to look back at the film and say, we should have done this, should have done that. But it comes down to execution. If we run the plays right and execute them, win one-on-one matchups, all those things, then the game's different.
Now, Ryan Fitzpatrick spoke about Todd Bowles talking to you guys today and said that Bowles gave such an impassioned speech to the team that it could be a game changer for the season. Matt, do you agree with that? And really, essentially, what was said?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, from here, like I think Brandon said yesterday, there's only 2 ways to go. You either fold up and, pack it in, or you continue to fight and get better each and every day or each and every week. And so, this is not the type of team, that's not our character to just, fold and pack it in just because we had one bad game. And Coach Bowles basically said don't let one bad game doesn't mean a bad season. One bad day doesn't mean you have a bad life. And so, we just continue to play hard, and a game like this is a stepping stone. Stepping stones and stumbling blocks all look the same. It just depends on how you look at it and how you face it.
When you look off, especially after a really big game, not that you make excuses, but can you look at the extra time and preparation for that game as having any effect on the overall result?
No, I don't think that really has much to do with it, because it comes down to making plays out there, and our defense was making plays and doing the things, and they stopped them for the most part. Offensively, we didn't make enough plays.
Matt, one of my pet peeves, and a couple of Jets said it after the game yesterday, they just wanted it more than we did. I don't know if that's like player speak for, they outplayed us. How could a team want something more than the other team?
I don't know. I don't really believe in that. I don't know who said that either, but I definitely wanted it a lot more than, you would say that it looked out there. But I don't really believe in that. Somebody wanted it more than you do. I mean, what are you out there on the field for anyway? You got to want it.
Is this still a work in progress with this team? I mean, you look around the league and you see Pittsburgh getting blown out by Philadelphia and Buffalo blowing out Arizona. Are you still, as a football team, in the process of discovering what you are? Or should by now you know exactly what you are?
Yeah, I mean, we know what we are, but it's still a learning process. It's week 3. Nobody has arrived, I would say that yet, or is hitting on all cylinders right now. I know we aren't yet, and so that's the goal, is to get there, and that's why we practice, during the week and prepare for the game so that we can go out there and display, and correct the mistakes from the week before. Nobody goes out there and plays a perfect game, but the best teams go out and they don't make the same mistakes that they made the week prior to.
Matt Forte is our guest here on the Michael Kay Show. Matt, did any of the team lose any faith in Fitzpatrick after yesterday's performance?
No, I don't think so. Games happen. Nobody's perfect, but games happen like that, especially in a game where we're down and it came time to start trying to pass, and it was a game that it went from bad to worse really, really quick, and so I don't think faith is lost in Fitzpatrick or anybody on our team or our offense or our defense or our special teams. I think as a team, this is the time that you come together the tightest and get ready for the next game.
I know it's early, but what are your initial thoughts on Seattle?
I've played them many times, at Seattle and at home, and they always have a tough defense. And, that's going to be major for us to correct the mistakes that we made this past week in the red zone, especially with, executing the plays right and correctly and putting points on the board. Because I know our defense comes out to play and they'll be ready. But offensively, we got to help them out by not, having turnovers and having them on the field and having them on the field with the time of possession for a long game. But, having us out there and when we move the ball, score points. And, that's what's going to win games. You got to put points on the board.
All right, Matt, I don't want this whole thing to be all somber because of a bad loss. So I'm going to ask you a question because I just want you to get to know me. Like, if I left this radio station tomorrow, right, I would want it to fail miserably. So is there a part of Matt Forte that's thrilled that the Bears are as bad as they are?
No, I don't operate like
really?
that. Really?
See, you're a better man than me.
No. I could care less though. What's going on.
Okay, there you
I'm
go.
just worried about. I'm just worried about my team. I play for the Jets now, and what's in the past is in the past. I look forward.
Matt, we were just talking at the open of the show just how difficult it was to go through our day yesterday. After you hear, Jose Hernandez, the Marlin pitcher, 24 years old, loses his life. I don't know how much information you had going into the game, but how difficult is it when you hear somebody, even though it's not your sport, lose his life so young? Does it make it, difficult to move on and not think about it as you take a football field like you did yesterday?
Yeah, it's always something disheartening or discouraging about that because the first thing I think about is my kids. A young guy like that who's a baseball player professionally and to lose his life that young and for it to be a boating accident and stuff like that. I remember the guys with the Detroit Lions who had a boating accident and a few guys lost their lives and stuff. It's just so many things that are dangerous out in this world, and you never know, what day, what can happen. And so, you start to kind of slow down and humble yourself and think back, about how thankful you should be for each and every day.